I came to Ukraine in the late April of 2013. And of course, that was part of a new assignment posting for me. I had been to Ukraine on many occasions in my previous responsibilities when I was Deputy Director for the agribusiness team. But you always came for a day or two maximum, and you didn't get to understand and enjoy the quality of life and the kindness of the people as much as you can if you stayed for any good period of time. Then I lived within 6 months the Maidan experience, which was great, because I sort of lived very centrally and to feel it and smell it and see how people stand up for the right thing and sacrifice a lot of things, among which their lives, if necessary, created a sense of commitment in me that I believe continues to date. I consider Ukraine as my second and third country, if you like, because I'm Turkish. I live in United Kingdom, but I feel just as belonging to Ukraine as to other countries. So it created a very positive sentiment in me, I must say. EBRD plays a significant role in the economic life and development of Ukraine. Of course, we are the largest lender, and our cumulative investments in the country since we set up our offices in excess of 12 billion euro and close to 400 projects. In the last few years, 2015, 2014, we have done 1 billion euro each, and in 2016 we've done 600 million euro. So that's a very substantial investment. These are new projects that we fund. We provide funding across the spectrum, both to the public sector, projects such as roads, ports, municipal environmental infrastructure, power and energy transmission infrastructure, and other things, including, of course, reliability, stability of the power generators in the country. And as a separate engagement of the bank, the Chernobyl safety confinement unit. These have all been accomplished, in this period leading up to now. We also work, of course, extensively with the private sector. Agribusiness is a leading sector in that front. Transportation, logistics, industrial commerce, and agribusiness is part of this. Of course, a lot of what we do also involves improving the efficiency of both operational and energy efficiency of Ukrainian enterprises, and this will hopefully lead to enhanced competitive position for Ukrainian enterprises. We really work a lot in improving the economic standing of Ukraine, economic development of Ukraine, but it's not just through provision of money. We also provide a lot of technical assistance and policy dialogue support in order to promote the economic reforms that the country is embarked upon. This is an extremely important transformation of the way in which state is engaged in economic activity. State-owned enterprises are strong and dominant in many sectors that they're present in. And until now, recently, they have been not very well managed and definitely not well governed. So this program that we have started with NAC, and everybody sees the benefits of that, NAC is now transformed into a transparent, successful, profitable institution from being a highly loss-making, untransparent, corrupt institution that was in the past. So what now everybody is trying to do is to replicate this in other major state-owned enterprises. We have now a program with Ukrosolistnitsia, Ukroposhta, Ukrenergo, and we look at other institutions as well to give them a proper commercial mindset, governance, so that yes, they fulfill a certain function that the state sets out for them to do, but in doing that, they are insulated from political interference in their business. They are increasingly transparent, and as a result, they're profitable as opposed to loss-making, and that profit, of course, accrues for the people of Ukraine. There are benchmarks as we move on this progress, but there's also results framework, we call it in the jargon, that, for example, in the case of NAC, Naftagaz, it was establishment of the independent board, it was procurement of gas in a very transparent and competitive way, and as I said, ultimately turning the enterprise into a profitable one with a good governance structure around it. The same goes for other programs along the similar paths. You create a map of accountabilities and responsibilities that then define the proper decision-making process for the institution, and again insulates that from political interference, political influencing, but makes it purely results-orientated institution. This is a partnership on the path of reforms. Of course, we advocate some from our experience and best practices across our 35 other countries where we are engaged, and it is, of course, the political authorities' willingness, commitment to move on this path that creates the platform for this partnership. There's been tremendous progress in Ukraine's landscape, economic and political transformation, and we are a supporter of this together with other international financial institutions. What we are trying to do, of course, is to assist the leading sectors of the economy in order for them to act as locomotives of the economy to pull the rest of it with you. Agribusiness is clearly one where we are involved. Transportation and logistics is another one. We're very much engaged in that. We provide financing for a variety of port and supporting projects. And IT sector is, in recent years, is having that profile, having that dynamism, and we try to come in and support that as well. We would like to support IT sector, and we're looking indeed a couple of projects to be signed this year. We've done, I think, one project in the past. The business model of the IT sector is also, a bit of a challenge for us. There are a lot of enterprises with individual entrepreneurs in it, but the sector leading players are also recognizing that and making themselves more bankable by IFIs, international financial institutions. First and foremost, they have to be clear, clean institutions, that the ownership and the source of money has to be legitimate. We look at any project from three perspectives, and within the institution, these are independent functions in a way. We look at it, of course, from a banking perspective, whether or not the project proposal makes sense and is able to repay itself, but whether or not also the project transforms its sector, helps transform the economy. We call that transition impact, and our economists sitting both here and in London assess the project independently from that perspective. What elements can be brought into the structure of the enterprise and its interaction with the economy and other players that will transform, make the sector more competitive and better managed. And the third perspective we're looking at is, of course, respect for environmental and resource sustainability. The respect for environment is a self-serving objective, as a matter of fact. So Ukrainian entrepreneurs, Ukrainian companies see that. You cannot continue of the past's bad practices. And even if they wanted to, civil society organizations and the government and ourselves will not tolerate that. So there is a collective, I think, action for Ukraine to become an environmentally more sustainable and therefore more competitive country. When you look at energy efficiency sector, for example, Ukraine is still the most energy inefficient country in Europe, definitely. So there are a lot of effort now, government's effort, our effort, going into reducing that energy inefficiency, for public, for individual households, and foremost for industrial enterprises to improve their energy efficiency. And you see that in results immediately. The level of consumption is reduced. Ukraine is now hopefully on the path to become energy self-sufficient in not too distant a future. And that will make Ukraine a stronger economy and a stronger democracy. In London, we interact with all NGOs. I will give you the example that just 3 weeks ago, when a delegation of our board of directors did their biannual visit to Ukraine, on the last day, the most important part of that agenda was to meet with a variety of CSOs, to hear their perspectives, to hear their messages and guidance for us, because that's part of this broader sustainability and social responsibility that EBRD is very keen to preserve. Well, the peculiarity of financial IFIs is that, a lot of things sort of coagulate towards the end of the year. What I'm very optimistic about, very enthusiastic about, is that we will be now taking our engagement, new lending to €1 billion number. For that, of course, we have a couple of key projects, and some of them are in the public sector domain. We have a Kharkiv metro project that we're hoping to sign. This is a 150 million, 160 million transaction, together with similar amount coming from EIB. We have 2 projects with Ukrzaliznytsia of the same amount. And of course, then we have a whole bunch of other things in the manufacturing and services, agribusiness, including IT, and we will have about 35 or so projects. I feel very, very much at peace, first of all. I feel very comfortable. I say on many occasions that I've never seen 2 Ukrainians fight in the 4.5 years that I've been here. So it's a very safe, very tolerant society. Cities like Kiev, Lviv, Odessa, Kharkiv, others, Mykolaiv, they're very pleasant cities. I love living here. It's green. I love going to Lviv. I'm going to go day after on Wednesday night. There's a conference there. I go to Odessa quite frequently, to Kharkiv. I love the landscape of Ukraine and its peacefulness.